Hello friends, after we redesign our columns, we'll again run our analysis. Okay, so it takes some time. Alright, after running the analysis, we again design our building, right? So you can go from design to concrete frame design to start design check, or what you can do, you can just click on this icon over here. Alright, so here you can see that you got reinforcement values for different structural members, right? After that, what you should do is that you click on this drop down menu over here and click on verify all members passed. You can see all concrete. So it means that all our structural members are safe in shear and torsion. Alright, so the members are not overstressed as well. So sometimes what happens is that certain columns get overstressed due to their low size and the higher load conditions. Okay, so suppose that few of your columns or beams got failed, right? So in that situation, what you should do, alright, so if your maximum columns get failed, like out of like 50 columns, 48 columns get failed, in that situation you should redesign your columns. So what you can do is that you can just use the previous method that has already been talked, right? Okay, so you can redesign your columns. Or if your certain columns get failed, like for example these 4 columns get failed, let's take an example, and we'll unlock this model and we'll select all these columns over here. Okay, so again let's again suppose that these 2 columns also got failed, right? Okay, so we have to increase the section of these columns, and if you see these groups, okay, so where was the other group? Suppose that these columns are overstressed or they fail in shear. So in that situation, what you have to do is that you have to increase the size of these columns. Okay, so you cannot only increase the size from here, right? So you have to increase the size from the footing. So we also select these columns as well, right? So after that, we go to one step up that we selected. Okay, so we selected this column, these 2 columns, they are fine, right? And we had also selected these 2 columns. Okay, so that is also good, right? And this column as well, and this column we have also selected, so we'll select this and this column. So this is just an example. So fortunately our structure didn't fail, but suppose that your structural members fail, right? In that situation, you first select all those members. Okay, so after that, go to assign and click on assign objects to group, and let's add a group, and we'll call it as failed columns. Okay, so these columns didn't pass, right? So we'll add this group and we click on OK. All right, so okay, so we don't need this group, right? And we click on OK. So these columns have been assigned to the group, right? So after that, what we do, we define a new section properties and frame sections, and what we'll do, we'll just add a copy of this property, and we'll only increase the size. So let us increase the size to 350. Okay, so 350 by 350 column. Okay, and after that we name as new columns. So new columns columns, and we and if you want to see the section properties, you can go to show section properties, and if you want to see the rebars, you can see them, right? And we click on OK. Once you click on add copy of the property, all the properties are copied. Okay, so we click on OK again, and after that we click on OK again. So after that, what we do, we go to select and click on select, and after that we click on select groups, and we select the failed columns groups, and you can see that only the failed columns have been selected, right? Okay, so we select this column, we'll select this column and this column as well, right? So after that, what we do, we go to assign and click on frame and click on section property, and we assign. Okay, so and we click on new columns and we click on apply. So what this will do is that it will replace the old section with the new section that we defined, right? So here you can see that it's a column, it's a new column, it's a new column, and it's a new column, right? So okay, so after doing that, you again run your analysis. And after running the analysis, you design. And after that, again, what you do, you click on verify all members passed. All right, so finally you should get this dialog box saying that all concrete frames passed the design check. If again some members get failed, you have to do this hit and trial method, right? Okay, so what most of the designers do is that they just check the building up to this point only. All right, so but there are certain other checks that should be done, and after that only you can use these reinforcement values given by the program. Okay, so before that you shouldn't use these values because they might not be accurate. All right, we'll see the checks one by one in the upcoming videos in this section.